And welcome to the DX Corner for your weekly dose of DX as part of Ham Radio's oldest ham radio magazine on the air, This Week in Amateur Radio. I'm Bill, AJ8B. If you're watching this on YouTube, the text of this will be included in the show notes. You won't have to remember calls, dates, URLs, or other details. You can just check the show notes. As of this Saturday, there will be 168 days until Christmas. Time is flying, so we better get started. I received an email this week with the question, quote, "You said that when sunspots are around maximum that we will have several years of great DX. However, I check my radio every day right now and the band seems to be dead. What gives?" Well, instead of putting together an educated guess, I decided to ask the expert, my friend Carl, K9LA. Here's his response, quote, "The atmosphere at F2 region altitude changes throughout the year, specifically with the number of atomic oxygen atoms and molecular nitrogen molecules. Oxygen atoms are a good source for ionization, and molecular nitrogen is good for recombination. The summer months have a lower oxygen to nitrogen ratio, and thus the maximum usable frequencies are lower than in the fall and winter. 15, 12, and 10 meters will be back starting around September to October, and we should have great DX conditions again. This happens every year. You just have to wait for the fall and the winter months and be patient. Thanks for taking the time to explain. For more information on propagation and related topics, check out his website at k9la.us. It's a great source of information, not just on propagation, but 160 meters and a bunch of other topics. And I first stole all of his 160 meter stuff, so it's worth looking there if you want to learn. Each week, I try to focus on those entities that will be available in the next 7 days. There's so much data to sift through that I thought a focus on the next week might be helpful. Here's what you should find QRV when you tune the bands. The following DX information comes from Bernie, W3UR, editor of the Daily DX, the Weekly DX, and the How's DX column in QST. If you would like a free 2-week trial of the Daily DX, your only source of real-time DX information, just drop me a note at thedxmentor@gmail.com, and I'll fix you up. Adrian, Golf Zero Kilo Oscar Mike, is QRV from the UK sovereign base areas on Cyprus as Zulu Charlie 4 Mike Kilo until July 15th. He's running 100 watts to a hex beam for 20 through 6 meters and an end-fed half-wave for 40 and 80 meters. As usual, there will be special call signs during the big 3-week-long Tour de France bicycle race. The first call sign to listen for is Tango Mike 112 TDF, and TDF is Tour de France, with op F8GGZ. The second is TM25 TDF from the Radio Club Memeltra, and the third is TM59 TDF, all until July 26th. During the IARU HF World Championship, July 12th to 13th, members of the 3 Victor 8 Sugar Sugar, the Radio Club station of Tunisian Scouts, and 3 Victor 8 Lima Lima Giovanni will be teaming up at the Association of Radio Amateurs Tunisia's headquarters station. They will use both call signs during the contest. And I wouldn't say that a 3 Victor is rare, but it's not common. So if you need them, I would take some time in that contest and try to fill some band slots, or of course get them as an all-time new one. And that's what I'm going to do. The special call sign SN92LOT, active until July 31st, commemorates the 92nd anniversary of the ill-fated flight of Lithuanian pilots Stepanas Darius and Stasis Girinas. On July 15, 1933, they attempted a nonstop flight from New York City to Canal in just a small airplane. After crossing the Atlantic Ocean, they crashed on July 17th, 404 miles short of their final destination. And you can QSL this special event station via SP1 PMY. The Dave Coulter Memorial Youth DX Adventure announces that they plan to participate in a DX adventure to Curacao, operating as PJ2Y, until July 22nd. The Caribbean, quote, the Caribbean Contesting Consortium, PJ2T, Super Contest Station is hosting us for the 4th time. We look forward to seeing our host and friend, Uli Tilke, Delta Lima 8, Oscar Bravo, Quebec. This time we will be operating as the DX and as a special event station. Operations by the Young Ops will be about 4 days and sometimes around the clock. We anticipate several thousand QSOs on most bands. This trip is sponsored by the Date Amateur Radio Association, DX Engineering, QCWW Foundation, along with several other clubs and individuals. Newly licensed monk Polypius SV2 TOW is a retired police officer from Greece. Many years ago, he decided to become a monk and to live at the Doceria Monastery on Mount Athos. Pending approval by the 20 Monastery and Mount Athos Council, he will be on the air as SV2 TOW stroke A, with the stroke A representing, quote, alternate location, end quote, as is typical in Greece. Fortuitously, Monk Persepilius will be able to use the equipment antennas left behind by Monk Apollo SV2 ASP, who became a silent key in May of 2019. This equipment was carefully placed in storage by members of the Greek amateur radio community following Monk Apollo's passing. Mount Athos is number 31 on the Club Log DXCC Most Wanted list for June of 2025. It was most recently on the air in January of 2025 with the SV1GA Stroke A DXpedition led by Adrian, KO8SCA. A Russian DXpedition team is QRV as Charlie 94 RRC and Charlie 93 RRC is an IOTA DXpedition to Chiloan Island, Mozambique until July 19th. Chiloan Island is off the west coast of Mozambique. The team hopes to run at least 2 high-power stations 24/7 on CW sideband and FT8 using Yaesu and Expert SDR radios and amplifiers into vertical dipole arrays, verticals, and 5-element 6-meter beams. TY5AD is a new Russian team-controlled remote station hosted by a local amateur near Cotonou, Benin. The station is capable of operating on 80 through 10 meters, running 100 watts into a vertical. QSOs will be uploaded regularly on Clublog. Those needing confirmations can check your contacts and make a QSL request. After requesting confirmations on Clublog OQRS, QSLs will be uploaded 2 or 3 days later to LOTW. NN3RP Raphael, using his Wine Yankee November 2 RP call sign, says that he, quote, will be calling CQDX vacation style again this summer, July 12th to August 4th, and that, quote, I hope to work as many of you as possible using FM satellites, FT8, FT4, RTTY, CW, and sideband. Charlie November 2, November Echo is a station that's going to be operated by Hotel Bravo 9 HLM, Andre, and he will be on casually from July 15th to the 22nd, 40 through 6 meters. No paper QSLs are planned, but you can go through EQSL or QRZ. OK2WX, Vlad, has the the Juliet Whiskey Oscar Victor call sign for July 14th to the 23rd from Svalbard. He plans CW sideband and FT8 on 80 through 10 meters. And you can QSL direct to I8KHC and use LOTW. And that was I8KHC. TY5FR is QRV from Continental Benin until August 6th with DL1 BUG red operating. He plans CW and sideband on 80 through 10 meters. And you can QSL RAD via DL1 BUG or go through Clublog OQRS and LOTW. KI6LT, Larry, is departing Monday, July 14th, headed for Georgetown, Ascension Island. So he should pretty much be there by the time you're listening to this. He will be QRV in his spare time as KI6LT stroke ZD8 until July 22nd. He'll have an FT710 and an end-fed 40-meter wire. Activity will be mostly single sideband. He will also have a whisper signal on 40, 20, 15, and 10 meters. And the most likely time to catch him on the air will be from July 18th to the 21st. If you're interested in DX podcasts and YouTube channels, you should check out the DX Mentor Facebook page and subscribe to be kept up to date on all of the DX activities. Please send me an email if you need information on any of the details or topics that I discussed. Until next week, this is Bill, AJB saying 7-3, and thanks to my XYL Karen for her love and support. I hope to hear you in the pileups. Have a great DX week.